Now, today was the service of Thanksgiving for the Duke of Edinburgh at Westminster Abbey. Senior members of the royal family, along with the Queen, have gathered for the memorial of Prince Philip, as well as representatives of the Duke of Edinburgh's awards scheme. And you might remember last year we spoke to some of the Duke of Edinburgh Awards students at the Royal Hospital School in Holbrook when Prince Philip sadly passed away last April. We've sent Matt Marvel back there to the school for us this afternoon. Hi, Matt.
Hello, Wayne. Yeah, good morning. I'm here again. It's a beautiful building, the Royal Hospital School. Very imposing, right on the estuary, on the river there. Just magnificent buildings. I'm in there at the moment. I've got this is how he described himself. Brian Martineau described himself as the director of fun here at the school. Just put a bit more detail on that for me, Brian.
Well, technically it's assistant head co-curricular, but director of fun definitely covers what I do every day.
And so that involves kind of things like the Duke of Edinburgh Awards scheme.
That's right. So everything co-curricular, everything the pupils do outside the classroom, and the Duke of Edinburgh Awards scheme is a major part of that.
And we found out, I had a kind of idea of this, that the Duke of Edinburgh had visited here at some point, and he had. We know that now, don't we? We've checked that out.
Yes, in 1970 he flew himself here in his own helicopter and met some of the pupils on the parade ground. What a guy.
And he's known for that. I've got friends that have met or did meet the Duke of Edinburgh, and they said, what a guy, just such a nice chap, and you could be a normal person with him, and that's an experience that people have said time and time again, that when they met him, he was a normal guy. He's being remembered today. Bertie is with me, a student here at the school. Good morning, or good afternoon. Are we afternoon now?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. See, that's what you learn here about AM and PM. And now you've taken part in the bronze, silver and gold awards, haven't you?
Correct, yes.
So here at the school, everyone does the bronze. Now, just describe what you did for that some years ago now.
So I walked it, actually. I walked it at near here, quite as a year group, and we stayed overnight in Thetford Forest, actually. We cooked for ourselves, and then the skills, the volunteering and the physical up to us after that. And I've also completed my silver and gold since then, which silver I walked up in the Peak District where we did practice and the real thing. And gold I actually sailed it with a practice in the summer and the real thing being in October.
So I want to go into a bit more detail of this gold and what you did for that. So sailing, okay, now how many days were you sailing for?
So roughly 4 days, 4 nights, and we sailed on a 19-foot shrimper with 4 6-foot boys, so quite a squeeze. And we cooked for ourselves, and we sailed out into sea. So we started at Shotley Marina, we moved to Titchmarsh, we moved up into Ipswich, and we had to learn a lot about navigating in the river, everything to do with sort of seamanship skills. We had a rib following us with Mr. Simpson, who's part of RHS here, and overall great experience with some great meals as well.
Now describe a shrimper to me. What is a shrimper? Most people I don't think would know what that is.
So I've heard that it's the classic Amazons and Swallows boat, and you have, it's rough, 19 foot long, and you have 2 people sleeping inside, and these 2 people basically have to have their heads in a box, a 2 foot by 2 foot box, and the bed is about the shoulder width, and out the other 2 have to sleep outside, literally under a tent that's attached to the boom. So it's not a big boat, but it's definitely enjoyable, and it does get quite choppy as well, especially out towards sea.
So this was an adventure.
Definitely, fun adventure as well.
Yeah, and what does this instill in you then? This must give you confidence and.
Definitely. Well, it gives me the confidence to go do other things, maybe sailing related, because I wasn't a very confident sailor beforehand. Really just more skills to develop on in my life. Gives me the ability to grow as well and do other things that I might not have tried before, like sailing, for example.
Yeah, it sounds. I wish I'd done that when I was a youngster. It's that freedom away from adults, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. And so Brian, the other students have had similar experiences to this. What does it mean for the students?
Well, it gives them a sense of independence. It means they have to plan their own activities. They have to schedule their activities around everything else we get them to do at RHS. They're very busy when they're here. So trying to find the time to do all this takes a bit of planning. You have to mature quite quickly. Because everyone in year 9 does the bronze, we help them with that. We can guide them through it. We can help them through it. But when they get to the silver, it's up to them. They have to really take ownership of what they're doing. And it's time consuming. You have to be doing things for 6 months continuously in order to score your points. You have to plan in advance, as Bertie was explaining, going up to the Peak District to go walking. You don't just go one day. You have to go and do your practice expedition and then the real thing. So it's teaching people independence and ownership of their own time, really.
Did you do it when you were a youngster?
I did not. Unfortunately, the school I was at wasn't able to offer it. But were I Bertie's age again, I would most certainly be out there doing my bronze, silver and gold, hopefully.
So that's the two of us. We'd both like to do it.
Absolutely, yes. So they should definitely do a DV for old people, I think.
Bertie, you're mentioning about the food you were cooking. Just tell me a bit about that.
So I was designated chef, and that involved cooking carbonara. I cooked chili con carne and fajitas because we actually had a small cooler on board. So that involved me shopping to a budget beforehand in both the practice and the real expedition. Purchasing the stuff needed for these recipes and then cooking it on board. And the boat actually had sort of simple cooking equipment. So we had a small cooker burner, and sort of pots and pans. We brought our own knives and chopping board and etc.
What about, so at night, so you said you slept on the boat, but did you kind of get nearer to shore for that? Just explain that to me.
So one of the nights we actually had to spend out on the river moored up, which meant we couldn't go into any marinas, go to the toilet, which meant all of us had to stay on the 19-foot boat for 24 hours plus. And then the other 3 nights we spent in a marina, in different marinas, so in Titchmarsh Marina, in Ipswich Marina, all over the place, really.
So the school here, close links to the sailing world. Is this going to encourage you to maybe go forth and do something with that later in life as well?
Quite possibly. I'm looking at joining the military, so maybe joining the Navy, quite possibly. But yeah, definitely.
Oh, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. And I mean, this is what the award scheme is all about, and the Duke of Edinburgh, that spirit, isn't it?
Yes, he was very much about giving people the chance to express themselves, chance to do something outside a classroom. For some people, the classroom's not the happiest place in the world. You know, they really want to experiment with service and with challenges themselves, and it really pushes people to new levels. And the big thing is this independence. It's doing it yourself. It's not having someone telling you what to do. You have to work out what you've got to do and then do it. And if something goes wrong, you've got to sort yourself out. And we're there to help. We're there to pick up the pieces if things do go wrong. But actually, our pupils are great at just getting on with it.
Yeah, I think that's a good lesson for life, that good grounding. It's a good lesson for us all. Well, thank you both for talking to me. Let's head back to the studio. And Wayne.
Matt Marvel, thank you, over there at the Royal Hospital School, chatting to Bertie there, a Duke of Edinburgh Awards student. And if you missed today's service at Westminster Abbey, the special service of Thanksgiving for the Duke of Edinburgh, you can look back at it by going to the BBC iPlayer.